guys, welcome back to another video where I share everything I know to help you be your best self. Today I'm going to share with you a dedicated journaling routine. It's something called a heart journal that was created by Dr. Rachel Remen. Dr. Remen is a professor of medicine at the University of California, San Francisco. She is a therapist and a physician, obviously a professor. She's got a really unique perspective on life itself. A lot of the patients that she helps have cancer that they're battling, including end-of-life stages. And so her perspective just on life in general and the ability to kind of share the experiences with her patients, the doctors who treat them, her own. She's just a gem, you guys. She's just an amazing individual. I'm going to link some information for her down below if you're interested in learning more about her. So I want to start out by sharing 5 things that Dr. Remen taught me about meaning, because if you're watching this video, obviously you're looking to live a meaningful life as well, and these things will be really important, and they're things that you're going to be able to experience as well. The first thing I want to share with you is that Dr. Remen reminds us that most of us are already living meaningful lives. It's one of those things where we don't necessarily have to live differently. We don't have to do something different to find meaning. What she says is that we basically have to look at the familiar in different ways. And this particular journal exercise and this practice and these specific journal prompts can help us do that. Secondly, Dr. Remen reminds us that meaning can be a source of strength in our lives, especially if we're going through a difficult period. That meaning can really help us remember who we truly are and things that we really value. Okay, this third one, you guys, is huge. I remember just stopping in my tracks when I heard her say this. Dr. Remen once said in a lecture that we are given many more blessings than we receive. We're given many more blessings than we receive. And what she meant by that is a lot of us were just working on autopilot, and we have just this habitual way of living. We go through life and we're busy and we're distracted. There may be a lot of different blessings that we're given, but we're so busy or we're so distracted that we don't take the time to even recognize that they're there. So I thought that one was really important that she taught me about meaning, is that we're given many more blessings than we receive. The fourth one, Dr. Remen reminds us that having isn't the same thing as experiencing. We might be really driven to accumulate certain wealth or titles or whatever it might be, and there's nothing wrong with those pursuits, but having things isn't the same as experiencing them. And I feel like culturally we've come a ways with this. I hear a lot about gift giving where people give experiences with their loved ones, so that's an example of that. So not necessarily accumulating things, but experiences. And the last one, and this is important, Dr. Remen is exceptional at really having us recognize just how much we matter. Every single one of you watching this right now, you matter. And we don't have to have certain titles, we don't have to have certain positions of power or influence or certain degrees or whatever it might be that people feel they might need to have in order to make a difference in someone's life or to be able to impact someone in a positive way. In fact, she reminds us in going through this exercise that she's created that you already do. There will be things that you don't even realize and just how powerful they are to those people around you. So I want to make sure that every single one of you watching this knows that you matter. And doing this exercise will help you kind of discover those meaningful moments. And again, maybe sometimes you won't have any idea just how important you've been to somebody else, but rest assured you have been and you matter. Right, let's get into the journaling practice itself. So what I do want you to know is I have a free download if you'd like. I was so inspired by this several years ago. I created a PDF file of the practice itself that has areas that you can capture this either on your iPad like I do, you can print it out, but you certainly don't need to, you guys. You can use pen and paper or notebook, note apps on your phone, whatever works best for you. Dr. Remen recommends that you do this practice where you have a nice quiet space that you can reflect on your day. Personally, I do this in bed at night right before I go to sleep, and it's a perfect way to end my day. When you're ready to start the journal practice, what you do is you basically reflect on your day in reverse. So she recommends that you sit wherever you're at and then work your way backwards all the way to when you woke up in the morning. So who did you interact with that day, and how did your day's events unfold, and just all the different things that went on during your day. And you would answer these 3 journal prompts, and you can answer them in any order, but one of them is, what moved you today? So when you're reflecting on your day and you're looking back at all the things that happened and all the different people that you might have interacted with, or just how the events unfolded, what moved you? What moved you today? And you would do that practice again, and you would answer a journal prompt of what surprised you today. What was a surprise that you experienced today? And the third journal prompt is what inspired you today? When you're sitting there reflecting all the way back on your day, what inspired you today? Now, something important to note is Dr. Remen says that what can happen in the very beginning, especially if someone might be approaching this with a little bit of cynicism or just new to journaling, is she said, a lot of people might say nothing is the answer to all three of those journal prompts. Nothing surprised me, nothing inspired me, and nothing moved me. If that's you, don't worry. She said that can be normal, but don't give up. Keep working through this practice, because what this practice can do is definitely help you realize those meaningful moments that did occur. You're being intentional about this, and you're answering those three specific journal prompts to find the meaningful moments that were in your day. One thing also that you might know when you do this practice is that there is a time lag. So maybe you're doing really good and you sit and you reflect on these three things and you write them down in your journal, but then you think, well, why didn't I recognize that when it was happening? And that's not uncommon either, that there might be a time lag. But if you continue to do this practice, this is a skill that you can build, and you'll be able to connect with those meaningful moments when they're actually happening during your day. Dr. Remen shared a great example of this with a physician that she worked with who worked in the ER. As you can imagine, tons of different things happen in an ER. One event that he shared with her is there was a little girl that he had delivered, and the mother had come in, and he knew that most likely with the stage that she was already at, that her personal doctor was not going to make it in time. So he really reassured her, everything's okay, but your doctor is on the way, but just in case, if they don't make it here, we've got you. This is going to be okay. And sure enough, the baby came, and he said there's a very typical thing you do. She described that the baby was on his forearm, her head was in the palm of his hand, and he was suctioning her mouth and nose. And he said that she opened up her eyes, and she stared right at him. And she just longingly kind of looked in his eyes. And it's not the first baby he had delivered, but he said it was the first time that he really realized that he was the first person that she had ever seen in this world. And he was filled with this immense gratitude and recognized how special and meaningful that moment was. And we've all been there where I feel like we have these moments in our lives. Obviously, it's not delivering a baby, but things that might seem mundane, we don't notice them until we slow down enough and look at things differently. Again, what Dr. Remen said, it isn't necessarily about us doing things differently, but seeing the familiar in a different way. So I really hope that this exercise has inspired you to give this a shot. Again, you can download the journal that I created. It's free. You can download that below, or just this practice. And I think I might have mentioned, if not, when I started doing this, I didn't even necessarily write these down, but I would always think about it. I would go through this whole process at night. And it is a perfect way to end my day. I love ending my day by remembering and recalling the meaningful moments, the things that were pleasant surprises, the things that inspired me, the things that I know can get lost if I'm not intentional. There's times where I think, oh my gosh, this only happened 6 hours earlier, and it took me a minute to remember that it happened. So I really love this practice. Again, I hope that it inspired you and creating these moments where you remember and recall the meaning in your life and help you savor those moments as well. So thank you so much for allowing me to share this with you. If you like content like this, make sure that you subscribe to my channel. You may also want to join my VIP list, which is free. It's at bertavip.com, where I share content like this right in your inbox the first of every month. So thanks again for letting me share this with you, and I will see you next time.